boys and girls, it's Miss Rossi. Today we're going to be making a birdhouse with a bird. All you're going to be needing is 2 pieces of paper, a pencil or something else to draw with, and something you can color in with. Alright, let's get started. The first thing we're going to do is make our birdhouse. So on my paper, I'm going to start with a rectangle shape. Whoops. I'm going to start with kind of like the bottom half of a rectangle. So I have a straight line on the bottom and 2 straight lines going up towards the top of my paper. I'm putting my birdhouse right in the middle, and I'm going to cut out my bird from a separate piece of paper and glue that right on there. Now the top of my birdhouse, I'm going to make a point. It does not have to be perfect. And then I'm just going to go out on both sides and then bring that line back up, and that's going to be the roof for my birdhouse. Now that I have my house's outer shape complete, so this bottom piece is going to be the actual house. My birdhouse is going to be on a little stand. So I'm going to bring my line out. Maybe I'll have it go out to the sides like that. And then across. I can add some lines for decoration in there if I want. And then I'm going to go down like this. Make another rectangle. And then bring that straight down for the stand that my birdhouse is on. My birdhouse is going to have 1 hole in it for the birds to get in and out of. And then it's going to get a little stick that the birds can stand on. So I did a straight line. I made a slightly curved line right here. Then another straight line going out from the top. And the end, I'm actually going to make a little circle. So it's like a cylinder, or it's like a fully round stick that the birds can put their feet on. Maybe I want to add some decorations with some wavy lines. So now my roof has panels, and I can actually erase that straight line that I used to start drawing my roof, because I decided maybe I want it to be a curvy line instead. So I'm going to erase that. And I can add any kinds of decorations I want on the outside of my house. I might do some straight lines going across. Now I don't want these straight lines to go through the hole, because the hole is going towards the inside of the birdhouse. So whatever kind of decorations I have on the outside, you wouldn't actually see on the inside of our birdhouse. Now I'm going to start to add some details in the background, so I'm going to do a couple clouds. Maybe I'll put a sun in the corner. That'll be good. I think that's going to do it for my birdhouse. If you want to add more decorations, if you want 2 birdhouses, if you want a giant birdhouse, you can draw yours however you want. Maybe yours is a mansion, maybe yours has 2 holes and it fits multiple birds in it. It's up to you. You can draw your birdhouse however you like. Now that I'm done drawing it, I'm going to take a Sharpie and trace over all of my lines so that I can see them better before I start to color. You don't have to do this. If you want to trace yours with a dark marker or a dark colored crayon, you can do that. I think it helps make your picture pop and stand out on the paper. But if you want to skip this step and just start coloring, that is okay. After I finished tracing all of my pencil lines in Sharpie, I grabbed an eraser and I erased any of those lines that I might have missed so that my drawing looks a lot cleaner before I start to color. I'm going to use some crayons to color in my birdhouse, and I think I'm actually going to use some watercolors for the background. You can use whatever materials you have available. Now that I have my birdhouse and some of my background items colored in, I'm going to watercolor the rest of my paper to fill in that space. Since I used crayons for my house and for my background details like my sun and my clouds, the wax in those crayons is going to do something similar to our oil pastels when we do a watercolor resist. So the wax is going to prevent my watercolor from getting into the picture that I already drew. So my watercolor shouldn't blend into the things like my clouds and my sun because the wax from the crayons will prevent it or resist it from going into that space. Our birdhouse is all done, so now what we're going to do is need one more piece of paper. It does not have to be this big, you can use a much smaller piece of paper. And we're going to make our bird. For our bird, we need a pencil, we need something to trace it with, we need a glue stick, and a scissor. And whatever you want to use to color yours in. I think I'm going to just use crayons again to color mine in. If you want to use something like old wrapping paper, or a newspaper or a magazine, you can use that so you don't have to color in your bird. It would already have a pattern on it. I'm going to draw it on my plain white paper and then just color it in once I'm finished. So our bird needs to fit in our birdhouse, so we have to look back on how big our birdhouse is. So I don't really want my bird to be too big. If you used a bigger paper and you have a bigger birdhouse, you can make a larger bird. If you want to do a couple birds, you can do 2 or 3 birds. It is up to you. So I'm going to start by making the body of my bird. To make the body of my bird, I'm just going to draw a straight line going back. I'm going to add my bird's head on this, I think I'm going to add it on this side. Make it nice and round. And then from here I'm going to curve down and back up. I'm going to add a wing to my bird. My bird needs a beak, and my bird needs an eyeball. So I'm going to put an eyeball right there. If you want to add some funky feathers to the top of your bird, to the bottom, if you want to add little feet, you can add all those different things. I'm just going to do a nice little simple bird here. Going to trace my bird in Sharpie and color it in. After that, I will cut it out and glue it onto my birdhouse. And there we go, it is all done. I glued my bird onto my birdhouse. You can put yours wherever you want. I wanted mine to kind of be standing on the stick, like it was going into the hole of the birdhouse, but it is totally up to you. If you do not have 2 pieces of paper, a scissor, or a glue stick, you can just draw your bird right on there like when we drew our birdhouse. You're just going to want to make sure that your lines for your birdhouse do not go through your bird. So wherever you drew your bird over your birdhouse, you'd want to erase all those lines inside it before you start coloring. Once you are finished, send me a picture through email or through Google Docs. I'd love to see what you create. Get creative and have fun.